So, Alec, thank you for coming along. And our first question to you is, why do you feel there was a need for a specific PLE conference?
Okay, so it was really exciting to be at this PLE conference, and it's the first one I've been to that was totally dedicated to this particular idea. Uh, as to why I see a need for a PLE conference or a set of PLE conferences, I think there is a tremendous amount of practice going around this whole idea or this whole notion, this theory of personal learning environments. Probably more research in that particular area, and certainly a lot around personal learning networks. But I'm feeling at this moment that there's probably not nearly enough. If this is going to be theory and practice that's as significant as I do believe it will be, I think we need to have some activities around this. You know, professional activities where we can actually get together, talk about what's actually happening, to capture this. Because I have a feeling that because everyone's in the doing this and everyone's sort of practicing in this, that we won't have a chance to actually get, to write something down. So in a sense, a lot of this will be lost. Now, the dangers of having a lot of this theory lost is that others will come in later who can sort of reinterpret the story, but the story won't be quite right. The theory might not be quite right. So from a theoretical standpoint, someone who comes in who's observing what the phenomena was will always lose some of those observations, who has not lived in this. So the people that were here really, most of the people that I spoke to were really people who are participating in these networks of learning, who have developed personal learning environments. And that these are like the first story accounts, for the storytellers of this particular movement, if you want to call it a movement. So I think it's really important that we get the people who are active in these environments to discuss, to define, to put forward research recommendations, to put forward shared ideas about how we can collaborate together on these ideas. So I think it's really important that we do actually get together, as researchers, as practitioners, to discuss these events. And I guess the other fear is if we don't do it. So first of all, of course, the story could be lost or interpreted wrongly. The other piece is that a company or perhaps an institution who doesn't quite do it right can kind of consume what this is, take it, commoditize it, perhaps commodify this, and perhaps take it the wrong direction, away from what we probably intended, or at least the spirit of the movement would have had collectively intended.
Okay. So you have, you've kind of gone into the second question already,
Yeah.
which is your impressions of this very first PLE conference here in Barcelona.
It's been really good. First of all, I really want to thank the conference organizers, because it was just everything went off without every need I had, from hotels to the setup, to the wonderful food, to the beautiful Citilab. It's just been absolutely wonderful. Every detail's been taken care of. So in terms of that, it's just been, from my perspective, totally glitch-free. People have been wonderful. The hospitality's been terrific. So aside from those sort of managerial and that side of things, it's been really neat that people who have been connected over years, yourself included, someone I haven't had a chance to meet, Joyce, actually, you build a sense of friendship over a long time, and when you actually get to meet each other, and I feel this with a number of people, is that you actually can kind of cut through sort of those first sort of, grooming of friendships sort of thing, and get right to sort of deep conversations, because these deep conversations have been going on for a long time. And I think that's really the difference between sort of this dry academic sterile type conference, where you've actually really got into making whether they're professional acquaintances or friendships over a long time. And I think when you come to a place, you can actually just get to the matter. You can get to the content that you're looking for. So I think that's really quite powerful. So again, from a conference that has everything that you need, to friendships, to meeting old friends that you've never met before, to the types of conversations, the richness, the depth of conversations. I think this has been a huge success, and kudos to everyone who's organized it.
Uh, Absolutely, I agree with you on all of that.
Yeah.
The other thing, which is what you and I briefly talked about, and what I wanted to ask you about, is the format of the keynote. It was very unconventional.
Right.
And we talked a little bit about that. Maybe you want to elaborate on
Sure.
how you thought that went?
So about a few weeks ago, Graham Atwell and I were told that we were going to do a co-keynote. Traditionally I usually try to have these things fairly polished. I don't try to do the traditional piece very well, but I like to kind of mix it up a bit. But because it is a PLE conference, I think the conference organizers were correct in saying let's try to push this a little bit. So several weeks ago, Graham and I have never worked together. We've known each other, just through the network and that sort of thing. We decided, we thought about what we could do. So it came down to an idea of really trying to crowdsource not only the content but the format of the presentation. So we both put blog posts out on our respective blogs. Graham put one out on his. It was basically a call for participation. So a number of people ended up sending in slides, sending in audio, just text, and Graham was just a master in putting some of this stuff together into sort of a slide format. He was able to ask others to reinterpret the slides in audio and video, and so on. So at one stage we had sort of this slideshow presentation. Graham and I actually sat down and worked it out a little bit better when we got to Barcelona, decided a bit more on the format. We really wanted to invite, firstly, of course, the people in the room. Some of those people did already through sending us contributions, but also to engage them in conversation during the event itself. As well, we wanted not to neglect the back channel. There was a live stream. So there was a couple of ways we tried to engage participants in the audience as well as the back channel. So we used something called Scribble, which is a free tool where people framed around the 8 questions that we had initially contrived. People were able to participate in little chunks of text. So we set up 8 Scribble boards. And as well, we used a common tag, just the PLE_BCN tag, and there was contributions throughout. And we were lucky to have Joyce, yourself, Maria, and Christina kind of in the audience and helping to kind of, get people, because sometimes I think that if there's only 2 eyes or even one set of eyes on the audience, you often kind of, you get into your thing or you neglect it. But we need people like you to interrupt us and say, hey, look, there's a question over here. We need to address this. So I think that really helps. That moderation piece really helped. Overall, I think it went okay. I think the important part is the risking the format, risking the content, and showing that things could be different. I think also the keynotes from today were quite good, getting us mobile, getting us active, getting us sort of moving. I think all of these things really need us to push us, because I think if we move away from these traditional pieces in our conferences, from the stand and deliver type lectures, from the same old content and away from conversations, we have to challenge that. So we do that through challenging notions of keynote. We challenge notions of expertise, and we really get to the heart of the matter, which is the conversations. And how many times have we said to each other, the best part of this conference that I went to was after the conference sessions. And I didn't have to feel that this way. I liked being in the sessions, and I liked the conversations after, and that's what it's all about. Any conference is as good as the conversations that are provoked by it and by the events there. So I think PLE 2010 was a perfect success in that it provoked conversations, it strengthened relationships, and I think we'll be able to take it from there.
Thank you very much. Now, just a final technical question. The pants.
The pants.
Or not capris?
Well, if you look at these pants, when I'm sitting down, they're much lower here, but these are definitely not capris. They may be man-pries, but I know there's been some discussion around the Twitter tag and so on Twitter, but I believe them not to be capris, so I think we'll just end with that.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution,
All right.
Alec.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.